Buenos Dias, Gunners Collective. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucking smack addict. And as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, indeed. A war story. Now, in a menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to get into the particulars of exactly what a war story is. Because, hey, I could tell a war story. You know, I could tell a war story with the best of them. But at the same time, it starts taking me back to a dark place. It starts taking me back to the thinkings that went into the criminality I was involved in. Now, for those of you that don't know the story, man, and don't know the deal, yes, I once was involved with the oppression of my people, the back and forth, the North and South. And as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, indeed, we're going to get into some North and South issues. Something I'm an advocate against, okay? I don't believe in oppressing or fighting your own gente, your own brown people. Okay, at one point, I was all for, Norteños, mount up, right? I was down with that. And that's just the reality of it. You know, that's the reality of the situation at that time. Growing up in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, you know, that was all around me. That's what I seen. That's what I was involved in. That was on the forefront. That was put on my plate, and Sasuke, I left no leftovers. I ate whatever was given to me because Sasuke, I was hungry. But at the same time, I also was involved to a certain degree and to a certain point where there was no looking back. It was, hey, I was all in. Sasuke, put them all in. Sasuke, am I going to win? Charlie, fuck. You know what I mean? And then I just came back for more. You know, the re-up was real. At the same time, when I talk about situations that are North and South, I like to get descriptive. I like to get in depth. I like to really put it out there because it's a part of the lost history. And the way that the wiggle was real back then in the 90s, okay? Shit was really cracking. And I know still to this day, you know, upstate, up in, you know, Northern California here, there's always going to be that animosity, that infliction upon each other just based on colors, based on geographical areas, based on size. Again, vatos just don't like each other for one reason or another. But at the same time, you need to understand that mentality is something of the past. That mentality is slowly but surely shrinking away. And Sasuke, bang, bang. In a menudo style, that's a great thing. That's a great thing when the people can come together. See, a lot of us have a mind state that we want that push. We want that unity. We want the raza to come together as one. We want the raza to be looked at and shined at and the doors open for everybody, not just one side, not the North and not the South. Sasuke, it ain't even about all that. There is no North and South if you really look at it. It's California, homie. Okay? We're all gente. We're all raza. You know, those that cause division will be divided and conquered. Yes, indeed. Those that push and rock that good rhyme for unity, eventually a hard-fought battle will be won. I've learned this a long time ago when I was laced up by a real veterano with brochas from the nose hairs all the way down to the chin. Don't. It's just the reality of life, man. So anyone that's out there pushing division and pushing hate and has a hidden agenda because their fucking panties are in a bunch, vale verga. That's it. Plain and simple, period. And you know, if you're a true believer in your cause and you're believing of the uplifting of your people, then it's not about division or hate. What it's about is forever forward for your people. And that's understandable. And to those individuals, I say no disrespect whatsoever. But at the same time, man, for the vatos that ain't never been in it, because their name's Bennett, Sasuke, you can't speak on something unless you're spoken to, baboso. Now, with that being said, and yes, I'm directing that to Gil from American Cholo. So now, with that being said, let's get down to the bottom of brass tacks. And I'm going to tell this war story. So, I remember one day, it was in the summer of 96. And me and a couple homeboys were going to hit this party. We were going to hit this party in Fresno, right? And we knew we were going to be out of bounds, Sasuke. But at that point in time, man, we didn't give a fuck. Sasuke, my Mongolian was flaying. It was going in the wind like that. Watch that, Sasuke. It was just swinging. And I had big nuts about myself at that point in time. I was a young kid. I had just got out of YA. I had been through all the different transgressions and all the different wars and the melees and the fights. And I had a lot of hate and envy and fucking just whatever is bad was in my heart towards the next man. I didn't care about nothing they had. I wanted everything that they had. So I was going to take it by force if I had to. So anyways, we're going to go to Fresno in the hopes that, yeah, we can party and meet some hyenas, but at the same time, if some perros or some sureños or whatever the case may be, try to pose a threat, we were going to get off we were mad at. And yes, we were strapped up. Now, I'm not going to tell you the exact homeboys that were with me, but there were 3 or 4 homeboys with me. So we're cruising. And I remember I had knocked this hyena, bro. And so I was able to get her little Mustang, put her in her, so the wind's blowing, stay right there. And we got on down the road, down the 99. So I remember getting to this party, and it was on the east side of Fresno, which is the heart of bulldog territory. So we already knew we had to keep our head on swivelization because it was about to go downtown, right? But we were ready for that. Of course, we blended in. At this time, everybody wore red, Fresno Bulldogs included. They still do. So we were kind of like chameleons. We blended in, but that was great. That was part of the game. You know, if Vatos came up to us and started barking, we were going to bite back. That's just what it was. But we had no incident there. There actually was a couple perros that were cool. You know, and I've always been of the mindset that just because you're from somewhere else doesn't mean I have to get off on you. If you're showing respect, you're not disrespecting me, and you're keeping it cool with me, what's that? Bang, bang. We can keep it cool then. It's always been like that. I've always been brown before anything else. And I have love for the raza, so it was all good in the hood. So we partied that night, man. I remember the homeboy, he knocked the big old fat gorda. He went, hey, I feel like tortas tonight. So he went and got his tortan, you know what I mean? Tortan con de favo. And he was up there doing his culuco. And when he was done with his shit, I was like, come on, let's go. Let's get this gorda. She's breathing on my neck. Let's get my neck hairs are standing up. If I got it, she probably burnt those motherfuckers off with their bad breath. So the homeboys came down, boom. We were ready to bounce. Okay, as we were bouncing, we hit a couple corners and we got lost. Now you got to understand, living in the city of Merced, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away from Fresno, okay, we didn't quite know the Fresno area because there was never no reason to go down there and kick it. You know, so of course we're wiggling, right? And we're like, fuck it, man. Hey, if push comes to shove and the sun comes up, so let's get, if there's a couple dead bulldogs, then it is what it is, right? But we had no problems until we bent this one corner. I'm not sure what street it was, but we seen several vatos running red. We're like, okay, this is it. This is the time. This is it. Alright, we were on that Ingram shit, and motherfuckers hit the corner on it. We hit the corner on them, and there was a couple vatos in red. I'd say about 3 or 4 vatos just posted up, drinking a 40. Now you got to understand, it was about 2, 3 in the morning about this time. So we're like, okay, victims. All point bulletins are going to be in the morning, but so, okay, we don't give a fuck. We'll just go down south. I got primos and Wilmas. We'll go kick it. So I looked, and these vatos started throwing the 4 at us. Okay, they started throwing the 4 at us, so we knew that they were homeboys. So we pulled up on them. Hey, where you from, homies? They said, oh, you're on the west side, homie. This is West Fresno Norte, Chandler boys. And orale, you know what I mean? This was at the time when Chandler was not yet all Bulldogs. There still were Norteños from West Fresno Norte, Chandler boys. Now, I had known a vato from West Chandler boys named Weasel when I was in YA. So I was like, hey, you know, Weasel, whoop de whoop. And some of them did know Weasel. That's the one, homies. That's the big homie, whoop de whoop. Orale, right? They were like, watch out going that way, man, because there's a Sureño body, right? Now, at this time, all I knew about in Fresno was a few Norteño hoods, and of course, the Bulldogs being the predominant group there. So I wasn't aware that Sureños had established in the outlying areas like Sanger and different places. So I was like, there's Sureños here, right? They were like, yeah, just ponte trucha when you go down that street because, you can come up short, right? All right, well, that's the street we're going down then. And of course, we took off down that street, and quietly as it's kept, and sure enough, you know what I mean? We started to see Sureño symbolisms, you know what I mean? The Mexican flags in the houses. So let's get blue paños, big old 13s, straight up. They were putting it out there. This is what they were about, okay? So we were like, orale. We weren't into the drive-bys. We weren't into that bullshit. We were into walk up and peel your fucking shit back, right? At this point in time. And we didn't see no one out there on the calles. You know, of course, now this time it's 3 in the morning. No one's going to be out there unless they're on Scante. And pretty much during the fucking garage, 10 to 2. So as we wiggle out of there, I guess we got spotted. By a carload of Sureños. So we hit the freeway. We hit the off-ramp. Like, we're out of Fresno. Sasuke, boom. Vámonos. Let's go. Let's go to Madera. We'll bust a little fucking right. And we'll hit Table Mountain one time for your mind, which is the casino. And then we'll head back to the town. And as we're fucking going back, I hear something. Bah! Right? I said, damn, bro. The tire done popped. It wasn't the tire, right? it was the driver's side window in the back. The homeboy's like, nah, they're busting. And when we looked back, there was 2 carloads full of Southsiders. And I mean, full of Southsiders, right? And these vatos had, Sasuke, they had machine guns like RoboCop. And what happened was it ensued a chase on the 99. Okay? And we were swerving in and out of traffic. It was like the movie Heat. They were letting loose. Sasuke, and we were trying to get up out of there. And I remember we had a couple little things. We're busting back. So it was actually a real life firefight right there on Highway 99, back and forth. And I remember my adrenaline was pumping. I was thinking, so this is how it's going to end, right? And what went through my mind and I was contemplating was turning around and saying, you want to play chicken? Vámonos. Un rooster. Da, da, da. Right? I was about to go heads up with these motherfuckers. Fuck it. It was going to be what it was. North and south issues were going to be solved on the Highway 99 right then and there. But of course, once we got past a certain point, these guys shrunk back and that was it, right? So we're like, damn. We pulled over right there about Madera, looked at the carro, several bullet holes, but it wasn't that bad. We had one blown out window, several bullet holes. Sasuke, these vatos needed target practice. But that just was a way of showing that these vatos were down for their shit. You know what I mean? Get the fuck up out our hood. We're established in this barrio. You norteños are not welcome. Oh, we weren't? Next night, right? Next night, we actually went back into the neighborhood. Sasuke, you know what I mean? You want to play? Orale, we're going to go back and play then. And we got a few more homeboys, 2 carloads deep, and we actually went back to where those West Fresno norteños were and started chopping game with them. Like, hey, you guys interested in kicking and handling some business? To which they said, Charlie, oh, you know what I mean? Because the way that my bank account is worked out, Sasuke, that you know, my money hits at 12. So we don't have gas money, so we can't. No, you guys can jump in, bro. It's all good. No, because see, my old lady, she's pregnant right now. What the, and at this point in time in my life, right, it's cool. You guys don't want to go. You guys don't want to go. Actually, they were the smart ones. So our plan was to go back into this neighborhood, post up right there on their block, and when they come out, let that be the reason. Let the bell be the reason. They came out. You know what I mean? They came out. And that's why I always will have respect for the Sureños, the Southsiders, because they will show up and show out. You know, there's no P in them. There's no punk in them. They have huevos. They let them hang, right? For the most part. And so, of course, we're right there posted up and vatos start coming out of their houses. It was like an apartment complex, man. I can't call it like an alcoholic exactly where it was, but I remember they started coming out and I was tripping because this is Fresno. Where the fuck are the bulldogs when you need them, right? But these vatos are coming out and they're like, what's up? What's up, Bessie? Right? Puro Sureño Mexicanos right here. And I was like, is that right? This is North. You know what I mean? I was gangbanging. Excited till we turn. Generate. I was over there and walking in the street. Getting my issue. And of course, they had this big ass homeboy. I'll never forget. He had a big old suit on his chest. The biggest suit I ever seen in my eyes. It was a suit so big that if he was in Long Beach and you were in Merced, you could see it from there. He's like, yeah, what does it say over there? I don't know. There's a hyena with some big old nalga. Yeah, I just see a vato with sold on it. You know what I mean? That's how big it was. And I remember he came out and he was like, what's up, homie? What you guys doing in our barrio, in our hood? And it's like, look, man, fuck all that. What's cracking? You know? And he was like, look, let's do it like men. Put all the guns away. We ain't got to do all that. I said, Sasuke, you busted at us first. He was like, you were in our neighborhood. Look, I said, we're in your neighborhood again. The big homie was like, well, what's cracking, bro? Fuck all that talk. What's up with it? And that fool was like, how about this? How about all your homeboys see all my homeboys? And the homeboy was like, fuck that. Why don't we all get off at the same time? No guns allowed. No guns involved, right? Sasuke, which was different because I knew someone was going to pull out a gun. I had my 38 right there. I was ready. He was like, let's do it. And we did it like grown men that night. And this is why I wanted to tell this war story because I'll never forget. We all went heads up. Sasuke, it was a good one too. No, hey, Sas, give me my Ben David. Sas. We handled business north and south, but we did it the old school way with these, okay? None of these. We didn't need none of that, okay? We had them, they had them. Obviously, there was going to be a menudo style if it went the pozole route, but it never went there. You know, vatos were able to handle it with this. We shouldn't have even been doing this. We could have handled it with this. But Sasuke, we were young, and hey, we had a little bit of, you know what I mean? We had a little bit of frivolous funk to us. So we handled our business, okay? And we went our way, and then vatos retreated back into their house, and everything was good in the hood. That was a North and South issue I'll never forget. It stayed in my mind. It stayed on my mentality just based on, it was the one time that we were able to handle it like men. Other than being incarcerated. Of course, incarcerated, you have no choice but to handle it like a grown man. Okay, so another war story I wanted to tell you doesn't actually involve me, but it involves a lot of my homeboys that I was very close to. And it was very tragic the way it ended. So there was some homeboys from M Street in NFL. And everyone that knows from Merced to M Street, the Water M Street in NFL, they're like this. Watch out, they've been like that for years. They kick it real close, or at least they used to. And the homeboy Ant from M Street, who's well known, Vato nowadays, he's a family man doing his thing, respects to my boy. We walk the Yarda together. He's a real one. I've known him since I was a kid. Shout out to his sister, you already know, and his mother. Good people, good gente. Anyway, the Vato, they're kicking back. They're on a good one. They're chilling. They're partying. And it was actually a carload full of homeboys. And somewhere along the lines, they felt that if for no other reason, they should slide up into Atwater. Now, I've already told the story on Atwater. Atwater's predominant Sureños, Southsiders, right? So why they were going to Atwater and to what degree of going to Atwater they were doing, I can't call it. You know what I mean? They were on a good one. So the Vatos tended to it on their way to Atwater. And of course, the Sureños spot them and a chase ensues, kind of like the one with us in Fresno. But this one was more vicious because Vatos were busting. I mean, seriously busting, worse than they were busting on us. You know, these Vatos were going for the kill. They were going for the death shot. You know what I mean? So get over here, like Mortal Kombat. They weren't playing. And so what happens is the homeboys are trying to outrun them because the homeboys didn't have no guns. And they actually hit on a divider on the side of the freeway, and the Sureños start pulling slowly behind them. And so all the homeboys get out to jump off the car to take off running because they don't want to be leaking like that car is leaking radiator fluid. They want to get the fuck up out of there. And there was child locks on the doors. And one of the little homeboys was in the back. There was actually three of them. There was the homeboy Ant that was driving, another homeboy that was in the passenger seat, and then the homeboy the little homie was in the back from NFL. And there was child locks on the doors, right? So as the homeboys get out, they just take off. They're out. You know what I mean? Fuck that. They're trying to live to fight another day. The Sureños slowly creep up. And they're just mobbing up. And the homeboys there with child locks on the door. And he was executed, right? And the homeboys that ran across the freeway, man, they actually watched their homeboy be executed. And it's just it's a true life story. You know, Vatos were incarcerated for that. So it's not nothing I'm putting out there where, oh, it's a fucking cold case. No, Vatos were incarcerated. Everyone got caught. But it was just a cold game of a North and South issue that arise. Now, I could tell you a whole lot of North and South issues, but really, it's not an issue. See, nowadays with this end to hostilities, with this calming down, with everybody getting their shit together, with everyone showing love and respect, man, that's what we should focus on. That's what it's about. I don't tell these war stories to cause division or to say one group's bigger than the other and respects and fuck this and all that and for the views and all that. I'm going to get that regardless because my hard work, my effort, and my content speaks for itself. But at the same time, I will say this, that it was a pretty big issue, and it plays into the history of what we had going on as Chicanos. See, we're warriors, and we're brown and proud. See, you want this, Chigazo Simona said, let's get down. We've always been brown and proud, okay? And just based on our geographical area, we're going to represent, you know, as a people. You know, when you get older, you become wiser, and you don't have a horse in the race anymore, and you're not involved in that, and you stand on your own 10, okay? Then you can reflect back into, damn, I was crazy, or damn, that shit was crazy, or damn, I was stupid. You know what I mean? Damn, I'm still stupid. Things like that. And it doesn't mean you're trying to push an agenda, and it doesn't mean you're trying to bring some shine to a North-South issue. It's just a war story and something that happened in my life. People tune into my channel to hear what happened, the war stories, the true life stories, the real talk. See, I have war stories because, see, I was involved in the mix. See, went to CYA. I've been to prison. I've been to Corcoran. I've been to Jamestown. Orale. You know what I mean? I've been to Tracy. You know, I've been to New Corcoran. Sasuke, I've been on several different yardas. I've walked yards. I've been involved in removals. We're going to get to that later this week. I've been involved in pegadas. I've been involved in all the intricacies that go into a real Chicano and a gang member in prison. There's a lot more to tell and a lot more that I won't speak on. That's just part of the game. But if you ain't never been nowhere or done that, you can't speak on it. Sasuke, if I go to a school and the guy says, hey, don't do drugs, have you ever did them? No, I ain't never done. I don't even know what they do to you. They motherfucker, why? I might like them. Sasuke, fuck you. You can't tell me if you don't really have the information. Sasuke, but it says right here because 88% of the people that do it get all fucked up. Well, guess what? Sasuke, I'm the 1% that don't. You just never know. Anyways, you can't speak on something unless you've actually been there and you've done that. With that being said, when I touch on these North and South war stories, they're facts, they're true, it actually happened, but at the same time, man, it's not a good thing, and I'm not trying to shine some light on it. I'm just telling the people it's a fact. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's about hustling, struggling, and striving for your people, man. Hey, bang, bang. Guns coming for you. If you like this, please hit that like and subscribe. If you don't, you can hit that thumbs down. Heavy is the head that wears that crown. Yes, indeedy. I wrote graffiti on the bus. And thank you to all my loyal subscribers who keep showing me support. I'm going to be here whether I hit 100,000 or not. None of that matters. At the end of the day, I'm going to stay striving for the gente. Bang, bang.